everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. This is a Broadway Chat series, and my name is Tammy Holder. I'm the artist in residence at the Broward Center, and joining me tonight is the fabulous
Demains. Welcome, everybody.
All right, so last week we had an amazing guest, a good buddy of mine, Mr. Eric Scotto was here talking about his gajillion Broadway shows that he's been in. He's so amazing, so talented, and then such a super person. So we really want to thank him for being with us. But Tam, we got another great guest tonight. Who's coming up today?
We do. I am so excited to welcome the very talented Syndee Winters. She's been in multiple Broadway shows, including Hamilton, The Lion King, Motown. She's also done a lot of really awesome other work outside of Broadway that she's going to get the chance to talk to us about. So I'm really excited to welcome her. Just to remind everyone that we will take viewer questions today. So in the chat below this video, if you have any questions for Syndee, put them on in there and we will get to some questions later on.
All right, sounds great. So shall we bring our fabulous guest in?
Yes.
All right.
Here we go. Let's welcome. Hi. Hi, Syndee.
Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
How's it going? Oh, it's going great. It's going real great.
So I hear that you are actually from South Florida, and that's kind of where you're hanging out right now. Is that true?
Yes, I moved here in 2000 and I went to school. I went to high school down here. I went to Miami Palmetto Senior High School.
All right.
And home of the Panthers. And then I went to Miami-Dade College for about 2 years. And then I moved to New York in 2006 to pursue my dream. My first job in New York was with the Knick City Dancers, the NBA, actually.
All right.
And that's awesome. So we're going to maybe get into some detail about that because that's a cool start. But I want to start by talking with you about a really cool project that you've been working on for a long time, focused on Lena Horne.
That's
so if you could share what that project is and kind of your role in the creation of that.
Oh, absolutely. Lena Horne started as, she's a huge icon, huge influence in my life as a performer, as a Black woman in entertainment, and an advocate for equal rights and civil rights. And she was a huge activist in her time. She used her platform to speak for others who could not speak, and not only for the Black community, for the Jewish community, for voices who could not speak for themselves. So she was even instrumental in like the freelancers union. So she was such an advocate and an activist for the right thing to do. So when I had just come back from the Lion King tour. I playing Nala on the Lion King national tour. I was hanging out in New York, and I was on the phone with a friend, and we were talking about, creating our own stories and making sure that we keep stories that are relevant within Black history, Black entertainment. And he said, "Whose story do you think you can tell?" And so we went through a couple of names, and I kind of hesitated, and he's like, "What?" And I said, oh, this is a tough one, but Lena Horne. He's like, "Oh yeah, you kind of look like Lena Horne too. Great, you should do it. You should do it." So I was like, okay, where do I start? So I started with Google, and I started researching her and finding things on public domain, and then taking myself to the Library of Performing Arts at Juilliard and going through her biography and everything. And immediately as I started researching this incredible woman, I saw pretty quickly how parallel our lives are or were. Some of the struggles that she went through still are the struggles that I went through, I have gone through in my own life, not only as a Black woman in performing arts and entertainment, but as a person in her own personal life. And so I felt really connected to her. I started an Indiegogo campaign to raise money for this debut of this show that all of a sudden I was thrown into, writing. And I had never written a play before. So I said, all right, now's the time. And I was floored by the response. Honestly, we had a sold out audience. We ended up on the news. It was incredible. Like by March, we started this concept in summer of 2000, 2013, and by March 2014, we debuted the presentation at the Cutting Room in New York City to a sold-out audience. We were on the news. It was an incredible journey, all while I was in Motown the Musical on Broadway. So it was just like, which superstar am I going to be playing today?
Right.
So it was super cool. And now I have a team of women of color, all Black women. I have a composer, Andromeda Toure, who does the lyrics and the music. Mfanisa Udafia, who was a part of the project in the beginning, and Logan Vaughn, who is the director. And all women of color, beautiful stories, beautiful women to tell the story of a beautiful woman.
And what was that experience like? So you have a lot of performing experience. Was this the first time you've really kind of delved into those other areas of theater, writing, conceptualizing ideas? And what was it like kind of getting into those other types of creativity?
Yeah, thanks. So when I was on the Lion King tour, and even growing up, I was always a choreographer. I've always directed, and I never called myself a director. But as a performer, and you're creating your own style, like, you do everything. So I saw the vision, and I saw what I wanted for this project, for this presentation, and so I just started putting it together. When I was on tour with the Lion King, I record my own music. And so I wrote my own music and I recorded my own music, and I always put my castmates to work. I say, hey, y'all, okay, we're going to shoot a music video because we're in Albuquerque and the scene is fierce. So we would go to a national park in the desert, with these beautiful cacti, and we would make a music video.
Oh, wow.
And it was incredible. And I used to sing dance music at the time. So it was like, nice. And we're in the desert, and it's a feeling, right? And, as artists, we have so many facets to ourselves, and Broadway happens to be one of them, and so everything is theatrical. We even captured a tarantula and put him in a cup, and we would set him, we were wrangling him. It was wonderful. So we would put these things together. And so when it came to Lena Horne, I had an idea of what I wanted, the vignettes I wanted to create. And then with that concept, I was able to share the concept, and these lovely individuals were able to come on board and help me continue to build it. So it's been, as an artist, you conceptualize all the time. You're always making stuff up all the time. If you can write it on a piece of paper, you can create it in your mind. So yeah, I have done it in the past, but in such a way that was formatted in like a play, probably not. Mm-hmm. Not that I could distinct, make it a distinguished thing.
Right. Well, I'm interested in your take on her vocally. What was it that drew you to her vocally and her music and just her sound? And how did you adapt? What did you find similar, and what was challenging to recreate vocally?
Oh, thank you. That's a really good question. So Lena Horne's voice actually has a beautiful evolution throughout her life. She starts off very sweet, and then towards a certain part of her life, around the roaring 60s, the revolution, she begins to perform in a very different way and be seen in a very different light. She was taken on as a beautiful sex symbol, very elegant, very the archetype of a Black woman. And then when Aretha Franklin came on the scene, she said, oh, when I heard Aretha sing, she broke my heart, literally broke it, restructured, and I was born again. And so when she heard that this type of voice was coming out of a human being, a beautiful Black woman, she said, I want to do my own version of that. Okay. And so you went from, don't know why there's no sun up in the sky, to love me or leave me or let me be lonely. I want no one unless that someone is you. She's direct and heat, hot fire. Right.
I love it.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
And so this project you've been working on for a really long time. It's still in works now, and you're still performing it, right?
Yes.
So why do you think it's still a really relevant, important story to tell today?
Oh my goodness, it's still, because in our world, right? Black artists are looked as looked at as extremely talented, wonderful performers, right? But there's still a wage gap. There's still a recognition gap. There is a large part of entertainment is directly influenced by Black culture. And I intentionally say Black culture and not African American culture because it is all. I am a Jamaican American, and my culture has affected the American culture because it's also known as hip hop. Hip hop was born in the Bronx by a Jamaican DJ. So directly affected by the culture of America, right? So this story you cannot acknowledge your love for anything, any music, art, anything like that, performance, and not acknowledge the Black culture and the entertainers that brought it to the forefront. And they should be recognized for it. And Lena Horne spent her career taking sacrifices for her, like beside taking roles, rather than taking roles, rejecting roles, not to play subservient characters, not to play jungle women, not to play maids, in order to set the standard and set the bar for what a woman and a Black woman could be seen as. Equal. Equal.
Right, definitely.
So I think it's super relevant today because we all want to be seen as people. We all want to be honored as human and appreciated. And so her music is still vibrant and strong. And our take on this show is, if Lena Horne had her voice today and she had the freedom to speak the way that she spoke behind closed doors, what would she sound like, and how would she express herself?
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I know that you have other components of this project too, including some original songwriting, correct?
Oh, yes. So I with the project came an album. I really wanted to record an album. I wanted to kind of, as we still develop this project, create something that I began, like something that I could contribute, that I began my career with, which is singing and songwriting. But these are these are standards, great from the Great American Songbook, if you will, reimagined into my own with original arrangements.
Okay.
So what drew me to Lena Horne and introduced me to Lena Horne was a song called Believe in Yourself. And it was when she starred as Glinda in The Good Witch in The Wiz, 1977 film. That is, a culture classic. And when I first saw Lena Horne as Glinda in The Wiz, and she had this beautiful gown, and the babies were cascading down behind her, like, why the babies? So when you heard her sing, it was that similar, what you were talking about, Tammy, like the evolution of her voice going from this very sweet thing to a very powerful. She's trying to drive a message through this little camera into your spirit. And it was effective. It was effective. When I was young, it scared me. Okay. Why is her mouth so big? And then now as I get older, I get it.
Right.
I get the passion. I get the drive. I get the urgency. I get the agency. So if we're segueing into our song,
it sounds like a perfect segue.
This song is called Believe in Yourself.
Awesome. So we have a very special treat for our viewers, performance from the incredible Syndee Winters. We're going to give her full screen and she can take it away, and we will join you back when you are done.
Excellent. I'm going to give you a full warning, my friends. I invite you all to dance and sway. There's a girl full of wishes and a pocket full of dreams. She's a million ways away from home. She has the courage of her mother, like her father knows the street, but she can't figure which way to go. One by one, the door slam in her face. Rejection is a friend. Then she hears a voice inside her say, "You're getting stronger if you believe. Believe." Here we go. If you believe within your heart, you'll know that no one can change the path that you must go. Believe what you feel and know you're right, because the time will come around when you'll say it's yours, all yours. Believe there's a reason to be. Believe you can make time stand still. You know from the moment you try, if you believe, I know you will. Believe in yourself right from the start. You have a brain, you have a heart, you have courage to last your whole life through. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in yourself, as I believe in you. This is the dance break, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna take it up. Believe that you can go on. Believe you can float on air. Click your heels 3 times. If you believe, then you'll be there. Believe in yourself right from the start. Believe in the magic you have there in your heart. Believe all these things, not because I told you to. Now believe in yourself. You've got to believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, as I believe in you.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you
So
so
that
much
is
for sharing.
That is from your album, correct? Do you want to share?
That is from my album, Lessons from a Lady, on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, across all digital platforms. You can find it.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure.
Is it possible to see your Lena Horne show? Where might one see that?
Oh, coming to you soon at a theater near you.
All right. Very cool.
I'll keep you posted. I post a lot of stuff on my Instagram. That's my Instagram handle right there. So
all right.
If folks want to see what's up with me, head over to my Instagram.
Follow along. Wonderful. Well, thanks again for that song. That was great.
Thank you.
So I'd love to shift now to your Broadway work and talk first about your most recent show, Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
So can you talk to us a little bit about the role or roles that you played in that show?
Oh, wow. So I had a very special role at Hamilton. I was the principal standby. So the principal standby is an actor that is hired to perform all of the principal roles whenever any principal is out. So I cover Peggy, Angelica, and Eliza.
Oh, wow.
In the show. Yes.
All of them. Okay.
I had to sign in every single day, but I wasn't on every day. But in the event that anything happened, which it had, I would be ready to go on.
All right.
Yeah.
So of the three sisters, which did you like performing the most? Did you have a favorite?
Yes. I thought I did. You know how they all grow on you after a while?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be in the show because I learned that Angelica was so fierce. She had a song called Satisfied. I need to really introduce it, but her song Satisfied, I saw at the Public Theater in New York downtown for the first time when it was downtown. And I saw this number and I thought, oh, that's me. Hip hop, singing, acting, all of that. That's what I do. I rap. So I'm a part of the very fringe of freestyle Love Supreme.
Okay.
Lin-Manuel Miranda's company. I was invited through my friend Anthony Viniziali, who is one of the founding members. And I love hip hop. Like that's where I come from. Hip hop, R&B, soul, reggae, and Broadway. And so when I found out, when there was finally a moment for all of those things that I grew up doing, boom, to hit the stage of Broadway, I'm like, sign me up. I don't care. And I would look at all the signs from like the universe, and I was walking down the street one day. I would never forget. I was near the Public Theater. I was walking down the street. I looked down and it was a $10 bill. Face up.
With Hamilton looking right at me.
With Hamilton right at me.
Nice. That was it. It was the sign.
So I was like, this is a sign. So when I got the job and I was a part of the company, I first learned Peggy, Mariah. It's the same role, just split in half. And then from there, I learned Eliza and then Angelica. So I was itching to get to Angelica. I'm glad that I got to her last because I got a chance to work on Eliza, and Eliza has a beautiful arc in the show, and I got to put my own spin on it. And she was a different type of Eliza than let's say Philippa Sue's Eliza or Lexi Lawson's Eliza. She was a little bit like, I consciously allow you to be the way that you are. And then by the time she gets to Burn, she's like, and I told you, I consciously, but let me let you have it right now. Okay.
Right.
Women, we have that ability. There's that ability to go, okay, I'll let you have your space. Do your man thing. Okay, great. Now don't overstep. Okay, you've overstepped. Now I have to step in.
That's it.
So yes, Angelica was my favorite to do and be in the show because I get to yell and scream in Alexander Hamilton's face. But my arc story was definitely Eliza. And Peggy was just plain fun.
Right.
Well, and how cool, you hear a lot of performers who stay with a show for a really long time and they say it's difficult to keep it fresh and new. Like you got to try out different things and be different people, different characters. It's such a cool role to play in a show.
And when you're a freestyle artist, you're like everything, or improv actor, you just go, okay, great. Who am I? What color am I wearing? All right, cool. Stage light. Yeah.
Did you ever have to play both more than one character in one show or in one day?
Yes, in one day. In the morning, in the matinee, I was Eliza, and in the evening, I was Angelica.
Woo.
At one point, yeah.
Keep you on your toes, right?
Yeah. And again, I was like, what color am I wearing? Red? Okay, I got to go left.
That's great.
Awesome. So let's rewind all the way back to your Broadway Rewind back to your Broadway debut. Can you share with us what your first show was?
Oh, wow. My Broadway debut was fresh out of college. I had graduated. I had auditioned for the show for about 3 or 4 different times. And I wanted to be in the show since I was 9 years old. And when I got the call, I had this vision board that, you get to put all your dreams on, right? And one of them was a picture of In the Heights. Mm-hmm. And the other one was a picture of The Lion King. And The Lion King was my first show, my Broadway debut. I was fresh out of college. I got the job, and then I graduated college, and then I left college. I graduated, walked, blah, 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 had my party, and then literally got on a plane and went straight to the national tour. And it was an incredible time. I was on tour for about 3 years in the role of Nala, and it changed my life. I wanted to be Nala in The Lion King since I was 9. Mm-hmm. And so when I heard Shadowland for the first time, it was one of the first moments where I heard the type of voice from the type of music that I listened to. When I heard Heather Headley sing Shadowland, I was like, oh, that's me. Mm. And I cried. I started to cry. And I just was like, I'm willing to sing the song anywhere. I don't even care. I'll sing it in the supermarket, church, trying to get out of traffic, whatever. I'll just sing the song. And when that moment happened, I'll never forget, it was like like the sky had cracked open and said, like the ceiling had come off my vision and my life. And it was like, oh, possibility. Oh my gosh. The possibilities of possibility, like how I can do anything now. So that show, that role has taken me through the last 10 years of my life. Through that role, I purchased my home in Florida. I get to come home and be with my family. That song, that show has taken me all the way to meet Queen Bee, Miss Beyonce Knowles. And I was like, Nala girl, you don't owe me a thing, okay? That song has taken me to the top.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
So that was my Broadway debut was with The Lion King as Nala, and it was incredible.
And do you remember that first night on Broadway? Do you remember that performance?
Yes. No. I don't. I do remember walking the corridor. So on Broadway, the Minskoff Theater has this giant corridor that you walk through. It's like a breezeway, so you can actually cut through streets. And so I remember walking up to, the bright lights, it's like total Broadway, right? And I'm just bawling, sobbing, crying because I'm like, this is it.
Nice.
This is it. I made it. And I had because I had been on the tour, it was already in a role that I was comfortable playing. So nice. I honestly only had 3 or 4 days of rehearsal, and then I was in.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was a slightly different show as far as entrances and exits than on the tour. So I had to quickly just get my mind together and know when I need to exit and where I need to entrance and exit. But I was on, baby. That was it.
Well, we are, I can't believe it, almost at time. We didn't even get a chance to talk about your other shows. But before we leave, Tammy and I both work with students who are studying theater, studying the arts, some with dreams of being you one day and in roles like you. And we would love for you to share with those students any advice that you have to round out our chat.
I would love to. So here's a fun as in weird as in wow story. So I was living in South Florida, and The Lion King had come through Broward Center Performing Arts.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents and I could not afford a ticket to go. So I guess I was like, I'm not going to see The Lion King ever. Not going to see it. And about 2 years later, I was at dinner with a friend's parents. And we had just maybe graduated high school. Maybe we were about 2 years out of high school. And I was attending Miami-Dade College. And my friend's dad was like, what are you guys up to? What's going on? And my friend looks over at me and he goes, well, Syndee is going to move to New York. And he looked at me and said, "What and do what?" And my friend answered for me, and he said, she's going to go and perform. Like, she's a dancer, she sings, she's going to go and do that thing. And he looked at me really well, and he was like, are you sure you want to do that? There's a lot of competition out there. Mm-hmm. And I said, in my mind, being the person I am and the family that I come from, looked right back at him and thought, I didn't say it. How dare you ask me that?
Right.
I'm very clear. I'm very clear of my vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I haven't figured out how to get there, but I know my vision. It's clear. And to come back, and I actually ended up seeing him about 12 years later. And I was like, hey, how are you? And he was like, I cannot believe that you did the thing. Because that whole song, Believe in Yourself, all of that is a mantra. That is a feedback loop that you say to yourself. If no one around you says it, I'm sure there will be people around you that will say it. Believe those guys, okay?
Mm-hmm, right.
Don't live in fear of anybody else. I have a friend named Sean Derrick, and he's a motivational speaker, and he says, when I speak to you, you may say that I'm out of my mind. I'm not out of my mind. I'm out of your mind.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
So, that's kind of my gift to you. And also, auditions are annoying and hard and weird. Sometimes you just wish you could get the gig, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. But guess what? Auditions are professionally what you're going to do for a job. Like, out of the hundreds of auditions, I go on maybe 30 auditions a year, or sometimes more. Like, I remember one time I went on 30 auditions in 6 weeks.
Ooh.
Yeah. And how many jobs did I book? One.
Oh, wow. That's it.
One. And sometimes I don't book any.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping in mind that you're going into an audition as an answer to a question. We need to fill this spot. Is the person that comes in here going to be the answer? And I hope they are. So go in there, being yourself, doing your work, and answer their question. Solve their problem, will you?
Mm-hmm. That's great advice. I love that. Thank you so much, Syndee.
Thank you. Follow me on Instagram, friends.
Absolutely.
And I also have a YouTube channel that offers really great tidbits and tips and tricks and advice.
All right. We'll
for
definitely share this. Very good. Well, we're so excited next week. I'm going to talk about this in just a second. You're going to be one of our masterclass artists for our brand new virtual Broadway intensive. So if you are watching out there, students between the ages of 10 and 14, and would love to spend some time with this amazing energy and performer, you need to go sign up for the intensive right now. So thank you so much for being with us tonight and for really just, sharing your gifts with our students next week. It was such a pleasure to meet you, Syndee.
Oh, my absolute pleasure, Miss Tammy. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for singing for us. That was
Thank
so
you,
fun.
Tim. Thank you. Oh, this is such a pleasure and an honor.
We're excited to work with you next week. It was great to see you. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Okay. Bye, Syndee. Okay, I could sit and talk to her all night and listen to her sing, right? Amazing. Love that. Thank you so much. So as I was mentioning, Syndee is just one of our 5 amazing guest artists that we have next week for our brand new virtual Broadway intensive. Starts on Monday. It's 3 hours, 9:30 to 12:30. Go check it out, browardcenter.org. We still have a few spaces left, but it's really going to be cool. I'll be teaching, Tim will be teaching, and my good buddy Michael Stanek will be doing the choreography. So that's something coming up. So, Tim, we bring another Broadway chat to a close.
Yes. Thank you all for watching, for your love, for your support. Thanks again to Syndee Winters for joining us. Please tune in next week for another exciting Broadway guest, same time, same place. So thank you again. Also, a very special thanks to Bank of America for their support of Broadway at the Broward Center all season long. We couldn't do it without all of you. We appreciate you tuning in every week, and we will see you next week. Have a great night.
Bye, everybody.